Daniel Oyefusi, a Browns insider, turning heads of what he had to say about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns quarterback position. And also, hey, if you missed it, it was a big-time game last night between the University of South Carolina versus the LSU in women basketball. Look at here. It's a player by the name of Tessa Johnson. She set she set it off. She set it off. What? We get ready to talk about it right here on Sports Talk with B. Watts. Hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification button. It'll let you know whenever I go live or drop a video. Hey, in the meantime, sit back and relax and enjoy this show that I got coming to you. Boy, she set that thing off. You remember that song Boosie said? Set it off. Boy, she set it off. Let's go. What's going on, friends? Look at here. Cleveland Browns insider Daniel I think his last name is Oyefusi, was doing a podcast, and he was talking about the Cleveland Browns quarterback position. Now, after this, I'm going to talk about one of the best games that I saw all year long, especially in the women's college basketball. I'm telling you, this girl named Tessa Johnson, she set that thing off. But let's get into the main thing, all right? Daniel was talking about Shedeur Sanders and working with the new head coach, Todd Monken's. Shedeur Sanders will get a good opportunity to be the starting quarterback this year for the Cleveland Browns. Matter of fact, I know he's going to be the starting quarterback, no matter which quarterback they bring in during free agent, or they could draft a quarterback. But that's okay. Competition is a good thing. But I like what Coach Prime said during the Super Bowl. He said Shedeur just got to work. He got to work. We don't want nothing handed to him. Shedeur Sanders just got to get out there and put that work in. And I know he will. Now, it's some key things that coming up, as you see there on the screen, before I show you what Daniel O had to say. All right? Let's look at the February calendar. It's a couple dates on here that I want you to focus in on when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. You ready? February the 17th is a franchise tag for the NFL. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, I don't think there's nobody on this roster they will be willing to franchise tag them. Maybe Devin Bush. I don't know, but I doubt that. I think they'll work out a deal with him since he's a free agent. And also, look at the date, February the 26th. It's the NFL Combine, right? That's 2 weeks away. And there's another date that's important, March the 11th, free agents. That's when free agents begin, and the Cleveland Browns can focus in on which offensive lineman or a wide receiver who's a veteran they would like to add to the team. April the 6th, off-season workout begins. That's when Shedeur and the Cleveland Browns can show up to the facility and start their off-season workout. And then the main one of all, April the 23rd through the 25th, is the NFL Draft. Who will Todd Monken, along with the general manager, Andrew Berry, bring inside the Cleveland Browns locker room from the college game? That's going to be some key dates that we need to look at. And I'm telling you right now, if Andrew Berry hit on this draft, which he already done said, and he's on record, he's concentrating on the offensive side of the ball. If he hit on the offensive line and the wide receiver, Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns will win this division next year, this upcoming year. If not, they will be representing the Cleveland Browns in a wild card playoff game. Now, let's listen to Daniel O, or what he had to say about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns coming up this year. Daniel O.
But then you look at a guy like Shedeur, who is more of like a drop back passer, maybe at his core, but he's shown the ability to make plays off script. And those 7 starts that he made at the end of the year, he was top 10 in both scramble yards and scramble passing yards. So when he was scrambling around and then he ended up taking off, he was top 10 in terms of yards there. When he was scrambling around to make a throw, he was top 10 there. So when you really look at Shedeur, you can see a world where it's like, all right, he's shown that, against NFL caliber athletes, he can make plays at times. He's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not a Josh Allen, but he can create off schedule. So if you take that, at his best off schedule, and then you say, okay, well, let's get you to play in structure, in rhythm, really understand defenses and dissect them from the pocket. Now we're working with something there. I don't think that his rookie year was as bad as maybe those advanced metrics show.
I agree.
And I think that there is a quality quarterback there. If you can get him to really, really play well in structure, and to play with timing, which I know he wants to do, but then mix some of that those off schedule plays that we saw like in the Tennessee game late in that game, and he was mounting that comeback.
That's Daniel O, a Browns insider, talking about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. He was letting you know his thoughts about Shedeur Sanders' chances on being QB1 for this year for the Cleveland Browns. And he liked the possibility of working with the new head coach, Todd Monken. Maybe Todd Monken can make Shedeur a better quarterback, and I'm sure he will. But also in the news today that the Browns are still interviewing for their defensive coordinator spot. Today, it's been reported that Corey Underline from Texas, he was a defensive passing coordinator. They interviewed him. You got to remember, he worked with Todd Monken before, and this guy have been a defensive coordinator before. And that's a good possibility. They just may name him the defensive coordinator tomorrow. Well, they also going to interview again the linebacker coach for Cleveland, Jason Tarver. He will be interviewed also, and Mike T from the Atlanta Falcons passing coordinator. So those are the final 3 candidates for the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator. You got to remember that Jim said he wasn't coming back, and he's still under contract for 2 years, but he refused to report back because he was overlooked as the head coach candidate. So those are the 3 defensive coordinators. Well, those are the 3 guys that they're interviewing for the defensive coordinator. And I expect no later than Tuesday, they will name one of these guys as the defensive coordinator. All right? All right. Hey, I got to move on. All right? Look here. Let me tell y'all something. Boy, it was a basketball game last night. Listen, I want to say congratulations to Dawn Staley, right? She won her 500th game as a head coach of the women's college basketball, right? Right there in South Carolina. Outstanding coach, good coach. She recruit good players, always had a good team. But last night I was rooting for LSU, right? Because I wanted, what's her name? Flo J. Johnson, the LSU point guard. Yeah, I wanted her to win because she ain't beat them before. She haven't beat them, but she's a good player. She ended up with 21 points last night in a losing effort because they lost 79-72 to South Carolina. But when she missed those 2 free throws, I was saying to my company, the ladies in the house, I was saying, yeah, that did it right there because they were going for South Carolina. But South Carolina had 2 people. They had 2 players out there putting it down. Boy, I said, good, congratulations. Now, I'm a University of North Carolina basketball men's fan, and I watch their games all the time. But when nothing on TV last night when I got home, I watched this game right here. Boy, this thing here, everything it advertised to be. But there was 1 player. Well, it really was 2. I think her name was Raven Johnson. She ended up with 19 points. She was a point guard. She did real good. But they had this one bright skinned. For all you bright skinned, all you bright skinned people in the house. Hey, she went out there and did her thing. You hear me? She went out there and set that thing out because when the game first started, man, look here, LSU finna blow them out. But this lady right here, Tessa Johnson, she kept them in the game. She was dropping them bombs all over the place. I was looking at my friend, I was saying, why isn't the LSU coach calling timeout to have somebody to check her? Because she went down there and hit one. Bam! That brought him in about 1 point, right? Then Flojo go down there and bam, hit a three. So that took him up 4 points. Man, they came right back down and passed it out to Tessa Johnson. Bam! Boy, she was out there setting that thing off. Bam! I mean, she hit 4 on back to back. Bam! 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 I said, dog. Can you... Look at him. Will the LSU lady call time out? Oh, Jesus. Don't let one person... Boy, she went out there dropping them bombs like they were looking for Bin Laden. She had like she was driving one of them jets out there. She was looking for Bin Laden. I'm going to drop this bomb on y'all. Boom. I tell you what, hold on for a minute. Let's watch a couple of highlights of Tessa Johnson from last night. I'm telling y'all, she was dropping them missiles out there. Tessa Johnson. Hey, I gotta calm down. Okay. Hey, once again, that was Don Staley and the University of South Carolina taking down LSU. I'm telling you, Tessa Johnson, boy, she was dropping them bombs like she was over there in Baghdad. Hey, she was dropping them bombs, man. She ended up with leaving the game with 21 points. Also, she was 4 or 5 from the 3-point area, and Raven Johnson had 19 points. So they took down LSU, and Don Staley got her 500 win as a head coach. So shout out to them. It was a good game. It was a good, entertaining game. I enjoyed every bit of all the way to the end, man, because once it went into halftime, I think they ended up leading by 1 point. So I said, man, once they took that lead, it was hard for them to come back. It was hard for LSU to come back. But both teams going to be good, I believe, to see them at least, both of these teams. And I won't say Final Four, but I know they'll be in the Final 8. I won't say Final Four. Now, South Carolina, they're going to be there. It's up to LSU to get there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hey, that's the end of my show tonight. Won't be no live show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Once again, you watching Sports Talk with B. Watts. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoyed that segment because you know it's kind of slow, kind of quiet over there on the Cleveland Browns and the Shedeur side. So, hey, I got to find something else to talk about other than Shedeur. Well, I'm going to talk about Shedeur. I just want to add a little flavor now. If it's worth talking about, I add it at the end of the show just like I did today. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, hype me up, share the video, hit that like button, comment in the comment section. Do whatever you can to support this show right here. All right. Until later on, I'll see y'all Monday night with my live show. Then, you know, I'll be back Tuesday with Uncle Steve with the Uncle Steve Show. All right. Until later on. Peace.